Hello everybody, my name is Danny, and today is Monday, October 8th, 2018. It's 4:43 p.m. here. Um, I'm right now I'm living in Eastern Canada, and for those of you who don't know me and my videos, I do all sorts of videos. Video blogs, video logs, vlogs, vlogs, whatever you want to call it, reviews, opinions, etc., etc. So today, it's I have a variety of different things that I want to put in this video. So I'm just trying to mix it up and trying to keep things as interesting as possible to a wide audience as much as I can sort of get. Because remember, everyone has different interests, right? So what might not interest you may interest somebody else. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was today. Today is Thanksgiving Day. Today's Thanksgiving Day here in Canada. I know in the U.S. it's celebrated in a few weeks later, but today is Thanksgiving Day here in Canada, and so I just wanted, because it's Thanksgiving Day. Oh yeah, and by the way, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And due to the fact that it's Thanksgiving Day, I wanted to do something that had to do with Thanksgiving. So I'm going to do a pumpkin pie review. Okay. So this. Let me see here. Hope you guys can see everything here. Hope you guys can see that. So this is the pumpkin pie. This is the pumpkin pie. And I'm going to taste it and review it. And just a little background. Just a little background. And actually, I kind of write down all of the different topics, because what I would notice before when I would do these types of videos is, unless you've done these types of videos, you would know that it's very hard to not only remember all the different topics, because a lot of the times you'll figure out only after the video's over that you forgot something or many things, but also to it's important to, in my opinion, to keep everything in a proper order, right? In a very logical, maybe if it's a chronological order, so that people can follow or understand what you're talking about in some sort of orderly sense, right? So so when I look down at my notes, that's sort of what I'm doing. So this pumpkin pie, it's interesting because when I went to my store, basically all of the fresh pumpkin pies were sold out, right? So I've like eaten pumpkin pie for quite a few years of my life, and so basically like freshness is really important, right? So like for me, it's just a given that when you go to a store, whether it's like around Thanksgiving, or I think it's probably also offered Halloween, because pumpkin, Halloween, right? But it's just sort of, for me, it was just a given that a pumpkin pie would be sold sort of just fresh out of the oven, sort of, right? But all of those were sold out at my store. And so I asked one of the workers there, and he told me that the only option was the Sara Lee pumpkin pie. So Sara Lee, I don't know much about them, but for, just hearing things, I'm quite sure like they do pies, right? They're a pie company. But the thing is that this pumpkin pie, this Sara Lee pumpkin pie was frozen, right? So like I literally had to when I went to look for it and find it, it was in the frozen section, in the a frozen freezer type thing. So it's not like if it was like frozen wines and then put on like a normal room temperature shelf. It's like this is like pie is always frozen, right? So that's concerning to me because I would never usually buy it, because not only is it not fresh, but it's completely frozen, right? But I just decided that there was nothing else available. So this I've never had like one of these frozen pies or Sara Lee or anything like that. So today I was reading the instructions and it said that um, the instructions say that you have to bake it in the oven. You have to bake it in the oven for about 1 hour, right? So So today I baked it. So it's been out of the oven for a little while, and all right. So I'm just going to give it a little review. Again, I've never had really any type of frozen pumpkin pie before, so I'm a little curious about this. And of course, some people like eating pumpkin pie with vanilla ice cream, because pumpkin pie can be a little, I don't know what the word for it is, not not really spicy, but kind of like it's got sort of that kind of like it can give you like that sort of dry sort of taste in your mouth, sort of. Maybe, yeah, a little spicy too, right? And so you have to kind of like contrast it with something. So, so like I said, a lot of people like vanilla ice cream. I like the idea of Cool Whip, right? Of Cool Whip, which is what I have right here, which is Cool Whip. And so I don't even remember the last time, if ever, that I bought Cool Whip on my own. Maybe my parents did, but this is a brand new bottle that I just bought. So let's see if I can do this. So shook it. Let's see here. And this, of course, has to be complicated. Let me see if I can. Okay. Now this is interesting as to what I do next, because there's no like. There's no like button or anything, right? This is interesting. Okay, I guess you. This is sort of weird, huh? Kind of like. So there's no like button or anything. It's kind of like Sprout or something like that. And the way that you get whipped cream out of it is you just push on it, right? You just push on the side of it and it just comes out. So let me taste test this pumpkin pie here. I'll give you my thoughts. So as I said, I I've eaten quite a few pumpkin pies in my life, all fresh. And this is very different than fresh, right? It's almost like I feel as if it's like eating something that's gelatin like. It's kind of like almost like a jello, right? Um, it's it's hard to explain. Like I mean, um, kind of like jello or gelatin has that same sort of like feeling to it or taste to it, right? And I'm trying to think of what other thing that I've tasted that tastes similar to this. Um, I've eaten stuff like this before, but stuff that tastes like this before, but yeah, it's like a jello gelatin sort of mix that when you take it out or when it eventually gets to a certain point in the oven, it becomes very liquidy, right? After it goes from frozen to liquidy to this, and so it's almost like a kind of like a cake mix sort of thing. So very processed, and gelatin is a complete opposite of fresh pumpkin pie, right? Fresh pumpkin pie is very dense. Um, it's fresh pumpkin pie is very dense, right? The fresh ones have nothing of gelatin or gel like at all, right? So um, unless I cooked this the wrong way, so maybe perhaps I got to put this back in the oven, and then it will get rid of that gelatin sort of texture to it. Um, like the pumpkin taste, it's similar to. I'll admit the pumpkin taste is similar to pumpkin pie, similar yet still a little different, right? Um, I mean, as this stands, I do not like this, right? I mean, I guess maybe tonight or tomorrow I'll try popping it back into the oven to see if it becomes more like a fresh one does, right? And if it gets rid of that gelatin sort of texture to it. But yeah, this is kind of gross to me, right? I don't think I'll ever buy this ever again, right? So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this a 2, right? So not recommended. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to talk about was the UFC 229, right? So that was, of course, Khabib against McGregor, just over the weekend. And of course, Khabib beat McGregor, won the title, and after the match, there was a huge brawl, right? Now, it's interesting because, like, since I was a little kid, like, I've always been involved in martial arts of some sort, although, like, lately I've taken a break from it, and so I've always been interested in it. Although when I took it as a kid, it was more like karate and traditional jiu-jitsu, right? Nothing. So the traditional jiu-jitsu is very different from the Brazilian jiu-jitsu or the jiu-jitsu that's nowadays very similar to MMA, mixed martial arts. But I'll have to admit, like I for the UFC, like generally, it hasn't really interested me after all these years, for many reasons. Like a lot of it is that you do speculate as to how much of it is real or fake, right? And how much of it is staged, right? All of the pre-publicity stuff, right? I mean, I think that most people understand that a lot of that is fake, but it's fake, but to me that's a turn off, right? Um, so it's funny because when I think it was on this match was on Sunday night, and I was just like at home, just browsing my social media, and somebody that I follow on social media decided to post the Khabib McGregor match, right, the main card, and so like I just said, what the heck, and I started watching it, and I actually was able to watch it right from that match, right from the beginning right into the complete end, pretty much. And but other than that, like I would not have watched it. Like I would definitely not have spent like over $100 for the pay-per-view. And it was a very interesting match because I'll just try to build it up because if I remember right, again, like I don't have like the greatest memory for detail, but um, um, that round one was kind of like close, but see, Khabib had um, Khabib. The thing about that round one was McGregor has a pretty good standing position, right? Like he's not good when it comes to grappling and that type of stuff. But although, because McGregor, it seems like he's very strong with his kicks, and but even though like they were in a standing position, Khabib was just there were two right hands that Khabib really hit him hard with, right? And so those two right hands really stunned McGregor. And then in round two, if I remember this right, basically speaking, even from that stage of when you're sort of going from almost to the ground, right? So where like Khabib was like had McGregor against the fence, that type of thing. Khabib was much stronger in that area, right? Like just pushing him right against the cage and dominating like that. And then, when he had him down like that, Khabib was just so much more aggressive and stronger, right? And, that type of like where he had him down and he just kept repeatedly punching him, like punching McGregor in the face, in the head over and over again, right? And then I kind of almost thought that that McGregor was never going to survive round two, right? And then for some reason in round three, Khabib decided to ease up on his aggressiveness, right? And so, like McGregor was lucky because he was able to kind of get back into a more normal type of position against Khabib, right? And but then again, towards the end, where Khabib just had him on the ground again and kept dominating him all the way with like his grappling and right up to that submission hold, that choke hold, right, where it forced McGregor to tap out, right? And it's funny because a lot of people were saying like McGregor was just stronger, but Khabib was just so much more aggressive and faster and more powerful, right? And like if you watch what happened at the end, it's just like, so people were talking about that, and they were saying that after he won, then McGregor's one of his guys was like yelling at him, saying things from the seats, and then Khabib like reacted to it, and then he jumps up and goes for him. I don't know if like when Khabib was in there, if they ever got to throw actual punches at each other, right? Probably not, right? And then, but if I think it was the right guy, but I just saw him just like the McGregor guy trying to throw some sort of punch at somebody, and then it was just crazy where you know Khabib's other guy with that red shirt just like jumps over and just like punches McGregor from the side like that, and I guess like it was crazy because I guess three of Khabib's teammates from that incident were arrested, but then McGregor decided not to press charges, so they were all like not arrested, right? And believe it or not, at that post-fight press conference, Khabib showed up for the post-fight press conference, even after all of that. You know, I don't think he ever actually went to jail because he wouldn't have had time to get back to the press conference. Although his just watching that press conference, Khabib only was there just for a couple seconds and only said a few words that didn't really sort of say anything about anything, right? It's just kind of a strange sort of guy, right? And yeah, just crazy. So it's hard to say what's going to happen next, right? Maybe I'll make a prediction and say that, like, I guess like McGregor, they found out that McGregor did nothing wrong, so they just the Nevada commission, they gave him his purse as money, right away, but they withhold Khabib's purse. So probably maybe what will happen is like now that there's no criminal charges that are seemingly going to be filed, I think that they'll probably like give him his purse, which they should because he did work hard for that. But they'll slap him with a huge fine, and they'll probably suspend him for quite a long time. And probably the suspension is really good for everybody, right? Because that guy needs to cool off and think about things because what he did really, he was completely off the mark, right? Like, I mean, that kind of stuff, like the trash talk and stuff, that's just part of it, right? And for him to misinterpret all of that, I think he just needs to like just be educated about all that, right? And to not take that stuff personally or anything like that. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about was soccer, because as you know, a lot of people know, like I play soccer. So one of the things I do with soccer is I organize some pickup soccer games, right? So I just wanted to update you guys a little bit about that. So we had a game on Saturday, just on Saturday, and so I decided that Saturday, you know, it's around Thanksgiving, like that time of the year, in October, where the weather starts to get cold. And this fall, as opposed to like different falls in this city that I've been in for a few years, this fall's been really cold, right? And a lot of people, they do not like to play in the cold, right? When it gets too cold. And it's understandable to a certain extent, right? So because it's been getting cold, I decided on Saturday to have a game, which was indoor, right? So I'm pretty sure that from here on in, the games are going to be indoor, right? Because it's just too cold. Yeah. So we had a good game, sportsmanlike and everything, and competitive at the same time. Lots of you know, a pretty good turnout. The people that turned out, I sort of predicted they would be there because you can sort of tell who's going to come and who's not going to come. And so lots of neat goals, and yeah, just kind of a fun thing to do on a Saturday and keep in shape and stuff. Okay. So, oh yeah, so I just wanted to say, so hopefully we can still, you know, get these good turnouts on for indoor games, right? So keep coming out, guys and girls, right? Um, so the next thing that I wanted to do was, um, okay, I'm going to just play a bit of guitar, bit of acoustic guitar. So I'm just gonna set this up a bit. It's just gonna take me a second. I think okay, so as a lot of you know, I do play the acoustic guitar. I've taken some courses, some lessons, but I still kind of consider myself still a beginner. I like to play a little bit in these videos because, who doesn't like to listen to the sound of acoustic guitar? It's a beautiful sound, right? And I'm in a learning process, and so I think a lot of you who are thinking about or is just learning how to play the guitar, so maybe you can pick up a few things when I go through these, right? Um, so and so I just wanted just to play I think maybe just kind of like about like two chords today, right? So and I in these two chords I've already done previously, but um, even though I've done these chords previously in previous videos, I'm just gonna combine them, right? So I'm gonna play both of these chords at the same time for this video, right? So um, so here the first chord we're gonna play the E minor, right? So for the E minor, it's played on the second fret, right? second fret. So first, this is the first fret. This is the second fret, right? So E minor goes index finger goes on the A, it goes on the A string. The index finger goes on the A string. And then the middle finger goes on the D string. Right? And it's just and then the other chord is the this is called the A suspended 2. A suspended 2, and same thing except your fingers just go down one string, right? So which means your index finger goes on the D string. And your middle finger goes on the G string. And you try to avoid the top, strumming the top string, right? So you go like I said, I'm just going to play a combination of both chords, right? You try to play them both at the same time, right? So let's just see what it sounds like when I play both at the same time, right? Going from E minor to A suspended 2, back and forth, right? E minor. Yeah, it's not that easy to switch your fingers like that, right? It takes a little bit of practice to switch your fingers like that to the different strings, right?
Just want to look to make sure how much time I have left.
Okay. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about, remember we're YouTube. We are on YouTube. We're a YouTube community. So we relate to other YouTubers. So there's this new thing where a YouTuber, his screen name is fouseyTUBE, right? So he had 10 million subscribers. So 10 million subscribers is a lot of YouTube subscribers. And as you people know, he recently something really weird happened where he sort of just out of nowhere decided to say like, I'm just quitting YouTube completely, right? And he put out these kind of weird videos and stuff where he was like in the middle of like the woods or nature in the middle of nowhere, and he was kind of just hinting that he was gonna just quit it, and he had like 2 or 3 YouTube channels and he was just gonna quote give them away to someone, and he's been giving them away because he wanted to quit YouTube. And the fouseyTUBE, that channel which had 10 million, I guess he decided to give it to give it to the people, right? So he's just going to use that channel. It's still going to be there, but he's just letting ordinary YouTubers put up whatever video they want. So they just like send their video to an email address, and then that video gets put in fouseyTUBE and it gets exposed to 10 million people, right? It's weird because it's hard to know really what's going on with all of that, right? You know, a lot of his videos are very funny and stuff, his pranks or whatever. Some people say, you know, a lot of his pranks are fake. I've seen quite a few of them. Yes, I feel definitely a lot of them are fake. So it's hard to know really what's all this about, right? Like he was kind of saying that he was going to delete all his videos, but the videos are still popping up, right? So he didn't actually delete them. He just switched the setting to private, right? And now they're still popping up, right? Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see sort of what's going to happen. So in my comment section, why don't you people tell me, you know, what you think of all of that? One more YouTuber that I want to talk about. His screen name is MagicofRahat. MagicofRahat. Now, I was watching his videos. I stumbled onto his channel, and he mostly does like magic videos, right? So a lot of his videos I just really like, right? They're creative and smart and everything, and some of them where he collaborated with other YouTubers too, like he's collaborated with Jack Vale for sure, and I can't remember if it was somebody else. But like the ones that he collaborated with Jack Vale, with the citizens arrest one or the fart videos or whatever, like those are really good, right? And then some of his other videos that were more like daring, right? Where there was one where he was in like a motel or hotel with a friend, and they set up like a fake like head of a person, and then they got the maid to go in, and she thought it was like someone's decapitated head, and then she went crazy. Just stuff like that, right? But the thing is that it's mysterious as to what's going on, because he hasn't like been on social media at all for like 4 months now, right? And he's got like over 5 million subscribers, right? And um, it seems like people are just speculating, you know, what happened to him, right? So it seems like people are speculating because there was a thing where a few months ago or over a year ago or whatever, he did this sort of, it was a prank or whatever, where he starts off by giving a homeless person a fake, like $1,000 winning ticket, right? It was a fake ticket. And that maybe pulls him in. I don't know if the homeless person got the money or not. And then Rahat supposedly gave this homeless person like a free house, and the free house was from, you know, all these internet people that saw this poor guy winning like a lotto ticket, right? And so they gave everything to this like GoFundMe or whatever, and it was like $40,000 or $50,000 to buy him a house. And then it seems like months later, this homeless guy makes a video, and he's like, oh well, like Rahat said like all that leftover money was supposed to go to the homeless person, yet he didn't see any of that money. And then he's like, he went into the house, but like there were so many things that needed to be repaired that he moved out within like 2 months or something like that, right? And so people don't know. I think maybe like if I had to speculate, it would be maybe like I don't know if there were legal ramifications as to, you know, you've heard of, it's a big thing now to like take a homeless person and do one of these things with them, right? For publicity or a prank or whatever, right? And you know, ultimately what happens is one of the things that happens is that money from the homeless person's GoFundMe pages, it doesn't all get to them, whether it's by accident or on purpose, right? And if it goes to the other people, then they can get in trouble, whether it's like legal or civil or whatever. So I'm kind of thinking like for him to just completely like leave all of the social medias for 4 months because like he was making a lot of money off of it, like probably there was some sort of legal ramification, right? Like and you know, you have, when you have something like legal, you have like the police showing up at your doorstep, arresting you, like threatening you with a criminal record and jail time and stuff like that. Like not everyone can handle that, right? And so like him being like a young person with like a full career ahead of him, you know, like you can't have like these criminal records like that, right? And stuff like that on you. And so what happens a lot of the times with these in the prank industry is when that happens, like it freaks people out and it scares people, and then people like either they quit altogether, or if they do stay on their videos that were popular for being so daring, but then they go and do make videos that are very wimpy, right? Like those types of videos I don't watch, right? Like I don't know, like you know, doing like charity work or something like that, or giving flowers to people or something like that, right? Or like, oh well, here's a video of like my girlfriend or boyfriend or my kids like riding a bike or stuff like that, you know, because you know you subscribe to them, you watch their videos because you like them doing like pranks or social experiments, especially the more daring ones, right? So like if they're going and they're just doing like wimpy stuff, I'm not gonna watch that, right? So yeah, so it's getting that time. So I'm just gonna wrap up and say thank you for watching. Thank you for watching thank you for watching this YouTube video. Thank you for watching all of my YouTube videos. It's much appreciated. And like I have to, if in order for me to like continue doing these YouTube videos, because there are a lot of like time and work and energy and so forth, and they allocate a lot of resources, like I have to see like a certain amount of views, like I have to see a certain amount of subscribers, a certain amount of new subscribers on like on a normal basis, right? So like especially like my new subscriber count, that has to be going up, right? So so subscribe, right? Get your family and friends to subscribe. and that type of thing, right? So you know, like when I post a new video, you can interact with me. If you want, you can set up the notifications, right? So you can know more about all that, right? Okay, so I don't want this video to go on too long. So again, yeah, thank you for your attention. I hope you like this video. Peace out.